Catherine Styler, Labour MEP for Scotland. The idea of local specialities getting the same kind of protection as some food and drinks can at a European level. What's your reaction to this as an idea? It's a consultation opening today.
I think it's a great idea. I think that there's been protection for food products on a geographical basis, and now to apply the same thing to, for example, Harris Tweed or Cashmere from the Borders or Edinburgh Crystal, I think that is a really good idea to look into. I think that geographical products and their area and the craftsmanship and the expertise that goes in to produce these products are exceedingly important to local areas and local economies. So I think the consultation is welcomed, and I look forward to hearing what it said.
What would be the benefits, do you think, of having a system such as this extended to what they call non-food products, as those lists could be, the list of items you mentioned could be ones that they could apply? What would be the advantages?
I think the advantages are there's craftsmanship and skills that are kept in local areas, and those are of a historic nature. They're the fabric of some very local communities and some very peripheral communities. So giving that added bonus protection, which would come from a geographical indicator, what we've seen in food products, is exceedingly important. I think, and applying that and keeping those skills in those local areas and those communities is a really interesting idea to apply it to non-food products. So I think the consultation is welcomed, and I look forward to seeing what the stakeholders say as a result of this. I think because we live in this global world that we're in, and where we see trademarks and issues coming under more scrutiny, coming under more pressure in terms of false products, market surveillance becomes so important to some of these issues. And I think that anything we can do to help make sure that those products, when they're marked as such, is what the consumer buys, not something that's falsely said and then goes through a huge legal process to try and get justice. I think there are issues around this that have to be addressed. I think including non-food products and geographical indicators could be a great advantage.
You mentioned Harris Tweed. I think you've been to see Tweed manufacturers along the way. I mean, what's special about what they're doing, and what are they kind of telling you? What's the industry telling you about the advantages this could bring?
Well, I think that Harris Tweed is interesting because it actually has its own trademark, and it has got protection in the House of Commons, which is really, really been important. And we've seen a revival in Harris Tweed manufacturing. It's fantastic. The product's great, and it's going global. It's across the world. However, when you go and talk to people there, you see how some products are falsely made, and they have to try and get justice for that. And because we're in this global world that we live within, this wonderful high quality product that's made by local weavers in small crofts in one of the most peripheral areas, actually in the whole of the European Union, deserves protection. It has protection at the moment, but adding this extra protection could actually be beneficial. So we have to look at it, because obviously Harris Tweed has got protection at the moment, and we wouldn't want anything to undermine that protection that's given by an Act of Parliament.
And just briefly about the process, because at the moment, as we say, it covers food and drinks, but they don't get it automatically, do they? They have to, the likes of Stornoway Black Pudding, of course, they have to apply, and it's quite a process to go through. Yeah. So is that something that you would like to see looked at?
Well, when we were talking about Harris Tweed, actually, in my last visit to the island of Lewis, I visited Charlie Barley's butcher, where they were the key drivers in making sure that Stornoway Black Pudding got its geographical indicator, and they are going strength from strength. And again, it's something that where we saw a brand being diluted by false advertising and labelling needed that extra protection. So it might have taken some years, but I was glad to be part of that campaign to protect the Stornoway Black Pudding, as I will be to make sure that other products from peripheral areas which have need protection get that protection under these geographical indicators. And if it can apply to non-food products, then I think that is something that certainly should be looked into.